Welcome to A Grace to Grow. Dee and I are super excited today to continue our conversation on communication. Today we're going to try to dive in on three types of conversation that you can have in your relationship that will help you stay focused on good communication and stay out that bad communication zone per se. So babe, you want to start us off with some of those topics?
Yes. So the first one is what we call family business or being task oriented conversations. And I was guilty of this. I had sticky notes everywhere. Every day I was having lists done. Getting on Ken's nerve, basically said, "Hey babe, did you get this, and this done today? And did you call this person? What about tomorrow?" And although those type of conversations fueled me, I was excited about it. It was putting a strain on our relationship. So I had to pull back on that, and it didn't help that I was a manager at work, and I was bringing that energy. I was bringing those type of conversations home to Ken, and although I did well and flourished in that, it wasn't healthy for our relationship. Those type of conversations.
And I think in that point is that knowing your strengths and finding a balance, because it's like giving, like we're saying, giving the other one grace to grow, because Dee was excelling in that, and guess what? I needed help in that area, to be honest. So sometimes it's like a school teacher that has a ton of information. They can overwhelm a student that don't have any information in that area. So definitely we made some changes in that area, and one of the changes is that I did not want to damper that in her. So I said, hey, let's make a business. Let's set aside time to talk about family business.
Yes.
And so we set a day aside. She lit up, and then that time we talked about family business. So that was a decent conversation, and everybody was at peace.
So the second one is small talk. This is really a bunch of, I don't want to say nothing, but just casual conversations between you and your spouse. It could be about, hey, how you doing today? What's your favorite color? Let's talk about a show or a movie. It could be something very simple. It doesn't have to be anything major, but it's just having those types of conversations.
Yes.
Now, ladies, I must tell you, there are some conversations we just need to tell our girlfriends, because I would talk to Ken about certain things and it just went right over his head. He did his best to focus, but I could tell that was just too much for him. So I had to manage my type of small talk that I was having with Ken.
And in that, to me, I don't know that most guys, that's a rare trait to just really want to be engaged in small talk. But for me, that is part of the criteria that we put down before us. So I had to engage. I had to be intentional. And come to find out, when I find out what Dee likes, that's one of the things to find out, what's on her mind, and vice versa. She can find out what's on my mind without, like she said earlier, that sometimes we could talk about stuff and then a conversation just go left field, any small thing. So when we're focused and intentional of having small talk and staying in that zone of just really having a good conversation, getting to know each other.
Yes, that's key, getting to know each other.
Yeah.
And the last type of conversation that's very important to us is life-giving conversations.
Yes.
These are the conversations where we want to talk about our dreams, our goals, the vision that we have for the family, something that's encouraging and that's positive.
And it's giving life. And I know, now see, I dominate in this conversation. I'm an encourager, and I love giving life, and I can see where Dee has been encouraged enough. She has been given life enough. And so in that, we try to switch gears and bring a healthy balance.
Yes.
That balance is this, that I have to watch your body language. And so when we're having conversation, whether it's the family business, whether it's small talk, whether it's life-giving, always gauge what we're doing. Always gauge and survey the body language of the other person. Keep them engaged. If you always dominate, you decrease so the other person can increase.
Right. And a great way to have these conversations, we wanted to share something that we learned many, many years ago. We took a class called Growing Kids God's Way. Our children were young, and one of the things they told us to do was take 10 minutes out of our day, sit on the couch, and we could not talk about finances, we couldn't talk about kids, we couldn't talk about work. And honestly, that first week, that was the longest 10 minutes of our life. We
Zero
had
conversation.
absolutely nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
We had got so caught up with the children and work that we didn't dream. We didn't have goals or things that we wanted to accomplish. So through those 10 minutes, we learned a lot about each other. I must say this too. They told us we couldn't have our phone and we had to turn the TV off. The purpose of this was to shut out the entire world so that we could focus on each other.
And it did good for me because I had to practice and begin. First of all, before we move too far, I don't want to act like this door behind us didn't open, but it did. But it did because it caused me to focus and to really begin to stop having the short answers and begin to have meaningful conversation. And guess what? That was way after the marriage, but it was something that happened prior to the marriage that I was never engaged in meaningful conversations. I was allowed to have, closed answers, and so that helped us to grow. Matter of fact, by me having these conversations with Dee kind of helped my career at work. I was able to just, broaden my conversation, my dialogue. So definitely the couch time is wonderful. We recommend it because like I said, it will cause you to have a conversation and it will create a different pattern in your home.
Yeah, I agree. So 10 minutes starting out may seem like a lifetime, but once you start having those conversations, before you know it, you'll be sitting there for 30 minutes or an hour and having different types of conversations. Again, there's nothing wrong with writing lists. We got to have those business meetings, but don't let that dominate the conversation.
I think it would be best said, don't let your strength overtake the other person. Find a balance to bring the other person to where you are in the conversation.
Right. So small talk is important. Life-giving conversations are important, and they're definitely needed in any relationship.
Absolutely. So with that, take what we say, try to implement it. But as always, then I hope everything that we share blesses you, causes you to have a healthier relationship and a healthy family dynamic. So as always, thank you.
And I'm going to go close this door.
All right.
Grace to grow.
Grace to grow.